Hey guys, it's Candace.
And it's Elena.
And you're listening to Cousins on Crime. Green.
Oh, Christmas.
I'm ready to let it go. How about you?
Yes.
I'm ready to move on.
I was ready the day after.
Yeah. I was ready like when everybody left on Christmas Day. Daniel's not.
Really?
Yeah. He gets really blue around this time of year because he loves Christmas so much.
Aww.
He's like, please don't take down the tree. Don't take down
Let
the
me enjoy it for
decorations."
one more week.
But I'm just like, no, let's pack it all up.
Yeah.
I'm glad it's over.
I could see how tired y'all were.
Oh.
And I was trying to like, okay, I'm leaving. Are you going home? Like,
it was so good to have everyone here.
Yeah.
It really was. Like, yeah, I was a little bit in a delirious state, but I was like, no. You know, when Monica, like when they switch apartments and she's laying on the couch and she's like, you know, y'all stay here. Just stay. Enjoy the cookies.
yeah,
that was me. But yeah, so.
Yeah, it was good.
Yeah, it was good. Glad it's over though.
Yeah.
On to the next. How have you been?
Good. I mean, except for my back, you know.
That's
my
right.
old
Lena
lady
threw
back.
her back out.
Yeah. Christmas Eve.
Nice.
So I'm hobbling around. Candace is about to fall asleep on Christmas Day.
Oh, yeah.
And so, yeah, but it's still, usually it lasts about 4 to 6 days or whatever, but.
What do you mean usually? Do you do this often?
Yeah, I mean, it probably happens once or twice a year.
Oh, that's not good. I don't think that's supposed to happen.
Well, I think it's hereditary.
Oh, yeah. I mean, your mom has had back surgery.
Grammy's had back surgery. My dad's had back surgery. So,
Oof.
yeah,
Can you not?
I know. I told my mom today, I will not do back surgery.
Yeah.
I'm not going to do it.
What are you going to do if you snap? And they're like, we kind of need to put you back together. So
yeah, just give me one of the, never mind. I was going to say, give me one of those pills that you could just go to sleep.
Lena, let me tell you, this is a perfect segue.
Really?
Okay. So, you know, I'm at the age where I need an implant.
Okay.
Okay. Not the type of implant that most women would want at this age. I have to have a tooth implant. So yesterday was my first bit of the process.
Oh.
They had to extract a tooth and do a bone graft thing.
Yeah, you told me you were doing that, and so
okay. So talk about taking a pill and going to sleep. I asked them, I wanted anesthesia. And they're like, yeah, we would have to send you to an oral surgeon. And I was like, okay, what's the step down from anesthesia? But I wouldn't know what's going on because I hate the dentist. I cannot.
Oh, yeah.
I cannot be aware that they're extracting a tooth.
No way.
Are you kidding me?
I know.
I'm annoyed that I even have to go through this. But
Yeah.
anyways, so they give me these 2 little blue pills. I take them and they're like, okay, we'll be back in about 45 minutes. And all I remember is waking up at 3:30 in my bed yesterday.
Like your bed at home.
At home.
Oh.
And I woke up in bed and I looked at the clock and it was like 3:30 or something like that. And I was like, what is going on?
Wow.
And so Daniel comes in there and he's like, how are you feeling? And I was like, what's going on? What, like, I didn't know.
Wow.
I have no recollection of any of it. And then he's like, just go back to sleep. So I did go back to sleep.
Uh-huh.
And then I woke up at like 7:30
In the morning?
No, not in the morning, but like in the evening. And I was like, what is happening to me?
Oh, wow.
I've never like, okay, the time I was roofied, that's the only time. Did they roofie me at the dentist? That's the only time I have no recollection.
They're like, here, take these 2 pills. And you're like, okay.
I mean, I just thought they were like, you're going to be pretty loopy. You know, you might hear us talking to you. No.
So you didn't feel any pain?
I didn't feel any pain. I don't recall any. I asked Daniel, I was like, did I walk to the car? Did I walk up the stairs or did you carry me up the stairs? Because I don't remember any of it. He's like, you just kind of stumbled to the car and like stumbled up the stairs. I had to help you. But
wow, that's so dangerous.
Right. Well, I'm going to ask him what they gave me because I mean,
I'm going to need that again.
I'm going to need some of that again. But oh my gosh, talk about going to sleep.
Whoa.
I mean, I love anesthesia, but when
I know you do.
When I come out of anesthesia, I'm groggy, but I wake up and then I'm awake.
Yeah, you like that was the best nap in the world,
But
and
this
now I can go.
Oh my gosh! And he did say to me, "This will be more than enough." He said that the dentist said that to me.
So.
He goes, "This will be more than enough to get you comfortable." Oh, I have to go back in like a week or something to get the sutures out, and I'm gonna ask him.
What was that?
Cough it up, bruh.
Yeah.
Can I
get a prescription, please?
Oh my god.
Probably illegal, but
oh yeah, for sure. But I didn't even think to ask what it was because I was really anxious. Mm-hmm. And I was like, this isn't going to work on me. Like I'm going to be feeling pain and
meanwhile, Daniel's just downstairs thinking, when is she going to get up? Like just
I know. And I told you my mom kept the girls last night.
Yeah.
So it just kind of was perfect because he took them to my mom's in the afternoon and then I was just like asleep all day.
Yeah.
Why couldn't that have happened when they were here? And he had to have them all day.
Aww.
Oh my gosh.
At least he got some downtime too, though.
Yeah. But I got to say, I woke up with a headache this morning. But after a couple IBUs and some coffee, I felt alive.
Okay, girl.
So
you needed that rest.
I needed that rest.
It's like your body just shut down.
It did. But I tell you what, highly recommend.
I'm
10
interested.
Out of 10.
I'm interested.
10 out of 10. Well, is that enough chit chat? Because I got to tell you, if y'all didn't listen to last week's case, I would encourage you to go listen to the Sims family murders. We talked about Dr. Robert Sims, his wife Helen Sims, and their 12-year-old daughter Joy Sims, who were all murdered in Tallahassee, Florida in 1966. If you're listening out of order, I mean, that's okay, but we're going to talk about, those crimes from last week. And while they're different cases, I do really want to talk about the similarities and I want to kind of see what you think. So let's get in.
Yeah, let's do it.
Nearly a year since the gruesome murders of the Sims family, the small town of Tallahassee, Florida was shaken once again, this time by a shocking double murder of 2 teenage girls.
Okay, so multiples.
So right. Around 1 a.m. on October 18th, 1967, a man who wished to remain anonymous because he was not where he should have been, called the Leon County Police Department to inform Lieutenant George Granger that he'd found 2 bodies at Blue Sink. Now, Blue Sink was a sinkhole turned swimming hole.
That's freaky.
Yeah, it was in the Apalachicola.
Oh, okay.
I didn't look up how to say it, but you know what? It's a national forest.
We're going with it.
But it's just south of Tallahassee, and it was a gathering place for locals. When I read that it was a former, like a sinkhole that became a swimming hole, I was like, No, I won't be doing that. No.
No.
But apparently it's not uncommon, because in my research, I was like typing blue sink, and it was like, there's a blue sink in South Florida. There's like other sinkholes that have turned into swimming holes, which why would you swim in a sinkhole?
I mean, does it just look like a pond?
It just looks like a lake, kind of.
Okay, so if you don't know that it was a...
Right.
Like, you're just like you're going to the lake and it's really a...
Sure.
I don't know.
Sure. But I just... No. Anyway, just as the caller had described, a sheriff's deputy arrived to find 2 deceased young women laying in a wooded area. Shortly thereafter, Sheriff Bill Joyce arrived. Now, he saw 2 girls laying among the pine straw. They were about 6 feet away from each other. Some reports say they were 20 feet away from each other, but I think the gist is that they were in the same area. They had both been shot, beaten, and stabbed. The bodies were identified as 17-year-olds, Elizabeth Ann Wood, who went by Ann, and Flora K. Granger, who went by Kay. And if you recognize the name Granger as being the lieutenant's name,
right,
with the Tallahassee Police Department, it's because it was his little cousin.
What? Oh, no.
Yes. Very sad. Now, Ann and Kay lived in the same neighborhood within walking distance of their school, Florida High School in Tallahassee. Now, despite the way their lives ended, they really weren't those type of girls that should have been found like this. They were both average teenage girls who were very well liked by their classmates and their teachers, and adored by their close friends and family.
No.
While I don't know much about the girls, I do know that Kay worked at Krispy Kreme. Yum. And she was just shy of her 18th birthday, like days away.
Oh.
Kay was survived by her parents, Mr. and Mrs. Morgan Granger, a sister, and 2 brothers. Anne was survived by her parents, Tommy and Evelyn, a brother, and 3 sisters. And you know, it was 1960s. The newspapers weren't exactly in the habit of reporting about victims. They weren't concerned much about what we lost or who we lost. They're more concerned with selling papers. So they want to talk about the dirty details.
Yeah,
the
talk gruesome.
And then so every subsequent article is all about the perpetrator and his hearings and his indictments and his, the trial. And so sadly, there's not much reporting about these victims. But let me tell you, one or both of these girls tore him up.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Do tell.
Because in his mugshot, you can see these deep scratches all over his face.
Oh, wow.
He looks like he stuck his face in a cat's face or something. I don't know, but it's hilarious.
Yeah, honestly. I'm going to have to look that up.
Yeah, I'll post it. The Tallahassee Democrat reported that the girls' bodies were found hacked and beaten. One was fully dressed, though it's not clear which one, and the other girl was missing her undergarments and was kind of like partially undressed. Those ripped and torn undergarments had been removed from her body and were strewn about next to her.
Wow.
No murder weapon was found, so no gun, no knife, and no blunt object. And it didn't take long for police to try and link this crime to the Sims family murders.
Okay. So
the year before. I mean, it was pretty, whoa. Like, this was a very gruesome crime.
Yeah.
Just the year before, the Sims family murders were so gruesome, so out of the norm, and they happened around the same time of the year. I mean, they were 4 days shy of being exactly a year apart.
Okay, yeah. That does sound very similar.
You've got stabbings and shootings of the victims.
Mm-hmm.
Like, why? We talked about in the Sims family murders, like, were there 2 people? Did one person have a knife and one person had a gun? Were there 2 perpetrators there? There was a sexual assault in both cases. So Joy, we know, was partially undressed. We don't know the extent to her sexual assault. But I
Right.
mean, and the caliber of gun in both crimes, while not explicitly reported as being the same, the papers do say that they were similar caliber. So very
Okay.
small caliber. As far as the girls' murders at Blue Sink, the medical examiner said that something as big as an axe could have been used in their murders.
Gosh.
That seems really different to me, because
Right.
that's not mentioned. It's not mentioned the brutality of the stabbings in the Sims family.
Mm-hmm.
So they were stabbed and shot, but it wasn't as notable as these stabbings.
Gotcha.
I mean, hacked.
Yeah.
The word hacked was used. So, unlike in the Sims family murders, the very same day, police had a viable suspect for the double homicide at Blue
What?
Sink.
Okay.
Yeah. Far cry from how cold the Sims family murders went,
Yeah.
immediately, it feels like. It's because, unlike in the Sims family murders, the killer in this case screwed up big time. Here's what happened. Guys, this case is wild. Some of it's unbelievable. Here we go. Around midnight on October 18th, hospital staff at Madison Memorial Hospital called Sheriff Simeon Moore to report that a 21-year-old, Robert Scott Sanders, had been treated for a gunshot wound. They said, listen, this guy comes in, he's shot, and it's mandatory, even today, for hospitals to report gunshots.
Oh.
Well, could a crime have occurred? Like,
Right. Like, what happened, sir?
yeah, exactly. Well, Sheriff Moore instructed them, look, hold the guy. We want to speak to him. So they wanted to, maybe run some things on the radio, say, has there been a shooting tonight? Like, does anybody know of any shooting? But they were headed that way because they wanted to talk to him. Whatever the case may have been, someone got their wires crossed. I guess maybe not everybody in the hospital got the instructions about holding him.
No.
Because by the time the police had got there, Robert left.
He was long gone.
He was gone. Now, they did have a really great lead, though, because authorities learned from hospital staff that Robert wasn't alone when he arrived at the hospital.
Oh.
His friend had driven him to the hospital. It's not funny. Turns out Robert had been living with a guy named James Freisner. Don't know if I'm saying that right. Doesn't matter.
Okay.
Anyway, when police go to James's home, they find some pretty serious evidence right out front. Just right off the jump. They see this 1956 Oldsmobile with a bullet hole through one of the windows. There was a shattered window. There looked to be blood on the seats inside and on one of the tires, on the trunk. So before they even get to the front door and speak to these guys, they're like, I think we're in the right place.
Yeah, something happened here.
We are on to something here. Now, reports indicate that police were able to speak with both men briefly at James's home. And the two said, Robert was shot while trying to clean his .22 revolver. How many times have we heard that people were cleaning their gun?
Oh, yeah.
And a shot went off? Like, is this common? I mean, you're a gun owner. Have you ever shot yourself while cleaning your gun?
No. I mean, I know it could happen.
Right. I just think if that's a risk, maybe you don't have a gun. Like, if you don't know how to unload it and then clean it.
Right.
I'm just thinking you probably shouldn't have one. But that's just me. I mean, who am I to speak about guns? Now, police don't like hearing that you shot a firearm because you were cleaning it.
Right.
Police just don't take kindly to that kind of story, right? They're just like, no.
Yeah, I wouldn't think so. But I wonder if the type of person that he is, was he drinking while he's doing this?
Well, he was dumb. So yeah, he's probably the type of guy who shouldn't have had, like, that wasn't his firearm. You know what I mean? Like, He got that from somewhere and he obviously didn't know the rules. But Robert tells the police, I dropped my friend James off at the Parkway bowling alley, and then I came to pick him back up, and none of this was sitting right with detectives. They're like, what? Yeah. Why is the car all shot up? Where's the blood coming from? Like, why is it on the trunk? Why is it on the tire?
Did you accidentally shoot yourself and then the car?
Right, exactly. So none of this is like, at this point, the police in Madison County, where James lived, hadn't gotten word of the double homicide down in Blue Sink.
Oh.
Madison is north and Blue Sink is south of Tallahassee. So it hadn't made
there were
the
no
rounds
lines
yet.
crossing.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
So it wasn't until later in the day that investigators in Madison County learned of the bodies of the two women found in Tallahassee. And now they're like, okay, they just felt like there's too much of a coincidence here for all this to happen on the same night, like for it not to be related. So Leon County Deputy Sheriff Willie Meggs, remember the name Willie Meggs? He was in our last story.
Mm-hmm.
He turned Florida State's attorney. Something really weird and political going on there. Said he submitted stuff to the lab.
Mm-hmm.
Did he really? We don't know. Anyway, Willie Meggs was still deputy sheriff in Leon County during this crime.
Okay.
So Leon County police went up to Madison to formally interview Robert Sanders and James Freisner. Am I saying it right? I don't know. Now, Robert, during his questioning, he begins telling this story about what, quote unquote, really happened the night of the murders. So Robert said, all right, here's what happened. I drop off James at the bowling alley. It's after 8. And he said, I'm headed down to Blue Sink. And no, I don't want to go to Blue Sink. I changed my mind, so I ended up turning around to head back up to Tallahassee. He told the police that once he turned the car around, the craziest thing happened. He passes this car, and he hears these girls screaming. So he whips his car around. So he's like, I've got to follow that car. I've got to save these people. So he's headed back down towards Blue Sink now. He's hoping. They always like to drop little details because they know what the evidence will show, right?
Yeah, yeah.
So they give a little bit of truth.
There's some kind of truth, right?
Yeah, there's always some kind of truth in there. So he's trying to give some proximity to the area.
Okay.
So he says he whips his car around. He starts following this car to save whoever's in distress. Shortly thereafter, the traffic light ahead was flashing yellow. He's like, great. That car has to slow down. I'm going to get up beside it. So he says he gets up beside it and it's the screaming car. Like, I meant to go back in my notes and call it something different other than the screaming car, but I
mean, it fits.
I couldn't think of anything. So we're going to call it the screaming car. So now that he's close, he can get a better look at what's going on. Suddenly, someone from that car throws a bottle at his car.
Oh.
And he's like, oh no, no.
Not my car.
I'm just trying to rescue someone and you're going to throw a bottle at me? So now he's thinking less about saving these girls and he's thinking about more of the fact that someone had just disrespected him.
Okay.
The next time the cars come to a curve or whatever and they both have to slow down, he pulls his car in front of them to cut them off.
Okay. Wow, this is brave.
This is action-packed.
Oh,
this
yeah.
is a movie sequence. So Robert gets out of his car and he starts fist fighting one of the guys. Okay, so this guy gets out, he gets out, they're duking it out. Suddenly, the other guy from the car gets out and shoots Robert in the arm. Hence why he was shot.
Right. And then he just let him go. He's like, okay, you can go.
Both the guys are like, let's get out of here. So they both get in the car.
Okay.
And they speed away. Well, Robert's standing there. He's got his gun. He's like, y'all aren't just going to drive away from me. So he said he starts firing.
Whoa.
Yeah. They sped off. He lost him.
Okay.
He's making this up as he goes along.
For sure.
But there's another little detail to validate his story. He shot from his car, therefore shattered window, therefore bullet hole.
Oh,
He's
yeah.
got a wounded arm. He said it all happened so fast he wasn't able to get their license plate, but he thinks it was like a cream color Ford.
Okay.
Which is like every car. So he says this explains the gunshot wound and, likely how he got blood in his car. He said one of the guys must have leaned up against the car.
Okay, let's test the blood.
Right.
I mean, it's in the 60s.
Exactly. You could just lie about that kind of thing back then. So in another room, James is telling his story. He pretty much told the police the same thing that he told them when they came to his house, except this time he elaborated a bit. He says, James dropped me off at the bowling alley, which is corroborated by multiple witnesses. James was there for hours until about 11:45 when Robert picked him up.
Oh, okay.
So James says that when Robert picked him up, he told James this wild story, the same one that Robert had just told police.
Okay, so he already had
already come up with this. At the time, James thought the story seemed semi-legit. I mean, Robert was shot. So, he was like, you do have a bullet wound to the arm and we need to get you to the hospital.
Mm-hmm.
So that's exactly what they did next, is they went straight to the hospital from the bowling alley. James told the police he observed the blood in his car, and I do mean his car because Robert was driving James's car this whole time. So James said he's looking at the shattered window, he's looking at the bullet hole, he sees the blood, and he's like, dude, I left you alone for barely any time, and what have you done to my car? And now police can tell that James's wheels are turning. Like the more he's talking about that night and after Robert had picked him up, Robert's story is starting to feel a bit uncomfortable to James. Like, starting with the gunshot. If Robert had shot himself, whether it was cleaning or in a fight or whatever it was, why did he just simply wait and then
nonchalantly
go pick him up? He's like, why wouldn't you take yourself directly to the hospital?
Yeah. Hey dude, come on, get in the car. I'm bleeding.
Yeah.
Everything's good, but come on.
So he's like, why didn't he take himself to the hospital? And James said, and you know what? Actually, later that morning, I went to get my car cleaned because of the blood and, there was glass everywhere. And he said, the people cleaning the car found blood inside the trunk. And he's like,
oh, no.
Robert, though, had an
answer for that.
He had an answer for that, too.
Okay, but at this time, they haven't brought forth the information about the girls.
Right.
Okay.
So James is like, yeah, well, when I asked him, why would there be blood in my trunk? He said that the guy who shot him, the trunk opened and they were fighting and blood got in the trunk.
Right.
And so James is like, all right, okay. Robert and James, I wouldn't say they'd known each other a whole long time. Okay. Robert was actually from California, but ended up in Florida after walking away from his post in the Army.
Oh.
Yeah. So he was stationed in Fort Benning, Georgia, and he just said, no. And he walked away.
Wow.
Ended up in Tallahassee.
This guy sounds like a piece of work.
Right. So he stayed at a rooming house October 1966 to January 1967. He gets a job at a gas station in Tallahassee where he meets James.
Okay.
So this is where they met. Well, the military tracked him down.
As they do.
Because you don't just get to walk away from the military. I mean, that's not how that works.
Mm-mm.
So they arrested him and they took him back to Fort Benning in May of 1967. Well, he escaped.
This guy.
He escaped and went back to Tallahassee. This just what an idiot he is. Like, why not go to, I don't know, Mexico or someplace?
Somewhere different.
He just went back to Tallahassee.
They'll never expect me to go back
I was
there.
like, I've got to know how he escaped this.
I know.
So here's what happened. He had donated blood a lot. He was like, all right, I'm going to donate blood. They're like, all right. So they take him to donate blood. They take him in the room or whatever it is, the facility.
How noble.
Nobody's watching him. And he just walked out the back. He just walked out the back.
What?
He just was like, nah, I'm gone. So
is this before they started bringing prisoners in?
I don't know.
In handcuffs?
I don't know. Did they even have handcuffs back in the 1960s? Because
sure they did.
It feels like they didn't. Maybe there was a handcuff shortage.
Oh, okay. Zip ties.
Yeah, there you go. So anyway, after making it back to Tallahassee, he and James checked into the Sunset Motel. These guys they were grifters.
Okay.
And apparently James had a wife and children. This wasn't the only place they ended up staying. There were boarding houses, rooming houses, and then they ended up staying somewhere else. And Robert moved in with James and his poor wife and children.
Oh, Lord.
Right. Which brings us back to present day. Now, during the investigation, a bartender that had frequented the same rooming house as Robert and James told investigators that Robert was kicked out of most of the places that he had been lodging.
Okay.
Yeah, he was bringing girls back to his room. And I do mean girls.
Oh.
Yeah. And I guess that wasn't allowed. I guess you weren't allowed to do that. But one of those girls that he had brought back was Kay Granger.
Oh,
he
really?
had dated her on and off.
Okay.
You see. The bartender also said that Robert was violent. He had a violent temper, and this witness wasn't the only one spilling the beans. James, Robert's friend, turned state witness.
Oh.
Yes. He wised up because he's like, I don't want to be implicated in this at all. It was my car, you know,
yeah.
And once
he's in a lot of trouble.
He's in a lot of trouble. He was like, I don't want anyone thinking that I had anything to do with this from beginning to end to any time. And it was good that he had so many people that could verify that he was at the bowling alley for all that time.
Yeah.
So he just said, I'll cooperate.
Y'all, be careful who your friends are.
Exactly. Be careful who use your car.
Or live in your home.
Oh, Lord. Now, the investigation revealed that the night before they were found, Kay worked at Krispy Kreme from 4 p.m. to 7 p.m. Then Anne picked her up around 8 p.m. As far as their parents knew, the girls were going to the drive-in, but they kind of were bopping around. I'm not sure if they were just kind of going where the wind took them or if they were intentionally saying they were going to be one place and they decided to go somewhere else. First, Kay was seen purchasing some potato chips at a local restaurant. The owner of the wagon wheel, which some reports called a drive-in.
Okay.
So maybe that's the drive-in they were going to go to the whole time. I don't know. But the owner of the wagon wheel saw Kay at the service window, but he didn't see Anne with her. It stands to reason that Anne was there. She just wasn't seen.
Okay.
Because next, the pair were seen buying ice cream sandwiches at J.M. Fields around 8:30 p.m.
Okay.
This sighting was pretty solid because the clerk at the store knew both of the girls.
Okay.
And as far as she could tell, they were together and they weren't with anyone else. The next morning, Elizabeth's station wagon was found parked at a burger place nearby. So the detectives asked Robert, tell us the truth. They said, we know the girls were with you. Mm-hmm. How did they get to Blue Sink? Because we know they didn't take themselves to Blue Sink because Anne's car was found at the burger place. Did you take them there? And now Robert has another story. He said, look, I'll tell you what I remember. So here's
what he remembers.
I'll tell you what I remember.
Okay.
He said, like, I dropped James off. I'm driving around. I see this car and someone shouts my name and it was Kay.
That was the screaming
Right.
girl.
Yeah, he's like, she shouted my name. I said, hey, that's Kay. You know, I dated this girl on and off. He says he pulls up next to the car, and Kay and Ann say, follow us over to the Burger Chef. The same place that Ann's car was found the next day. So now he's dropping even more little truths.
Right.
Because that's where they found her car. He said the girls got in his car and they all headed down to Blue Sink. And this was the girls' idea.
Mm-hmm.
They wanted to watch the Parkers, quote unquote, you know, the Lover's Lane, the people. So it was a swimming hole by day, Lover's Lane by night.
Okay.
People would park and snog.
Sure.
So Robert says, ugh, whatever. So he takes the girls down to Blue Sink and they park. And whether or not there was anyone else there is unknown. He doesn't mention that, and nobody else mentions that. But he says the girls start teasing him. Mm. You know, you're all out here all alone with us girls. Like, what are you going to do? And he says he starts getting annoyed.
Right.
And so they're hugging on him and joking around and teasing him. And he said,
In his dreams.
Yeah. He's like, I didn't like being teased. And then one of the girls said, what are you afraid we're going to rape you? This is his version of events.
Right.
According to Robert, this teed him off is the quote. Something triggered him, whatever it was. But he, in that moment, was triggered. He got so mad, he pulled his gun out. Now, there are multiple versions of how this next part could have gone down, really. Mm-hmm. Only 3 people know the truth. 2 of them are dead. One of them is a big fat liar. Here's what we kind of think happened. Basically, Robert says he pointed his gun at Ann Wood, who was in the back seat. And he's not sure really what happened, but it went off. And so she starts screaming that she's been shot. At this point, Kay reaches for the gun and tries to get it out of Robert's hand. The gun goes off again. She's shot.
Oh.
At one point, the gun goes off again and he's shot. He doesn't remember what all happened. The next thing he knows is he's standing over the girls' dead bodies in the woods.
Okay. That's all he remembers.
Doesn't remember. And he thought, oh, I'm in trouble. And he hightailed it out of there.
Right.
Funny how he doesn't remember anything that happened in the car or from the time that the gun went off the first time to the time the girls' bodies he saw them in the woods. But he does remember stopping at a gas station to clean up. Yeah. He remembers going to pick up James from the bowling alley. He remembers going to the hospital. He remembers all that.
Sure.
Maybe he took one of my little blue pills.
Sounds like it.
Right. Now, there's a huge problem with his story because there is no mention of any beating or stabbing.
Right.
Remember, I told you at the top they were beaten and stabbed.
Right.
All he says is they were shot. Robert doesn't remember any beating or stabbing. So, according to the Tallahassee Democrat, one of the victims was stabbed 66 times.
I mean, it's...
What?
It's just overkill.
Overkill, yes. But how do you leave that part out?
Well, because he's removing himself from that next step.
Right.
Somebody else must have stumbled upon them and done it.
Oh, thank you for saying that, because that's exactly what his defense attorney said. And I'll tell you about that in a second. So with that whole story, the changing of stories, he admitted to shooting the girls. Okay. And that's all the police needed. Mm-hmm. So with that, he was charged with two counts of murder. He pleaded not guilty by reason of insanity, as you do. He was facing the electric chair if convicted.
Well,
so how 1967. Right. Now, at the first murder trial was for the murder of Kay Granger. A psychiatrist who had evaluated Robert said that he wasn't in his right mind at the time of the murder of Kay Granger. They said he was a sick boy.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Clinical psychologist Dr. Paul Satz, hard to say, Dr. Paul Satz said that he may be sane now. And he came to at some point. So yeah, of course he remembers going to the gas station. Of course he drove himself to the bowling alley to pick up James. Yeah, he went to the hospital. He was sane during all that time. But the moment the gun went off, something in his mind just went.
I mean, I feel like you have to be insane to murder someone anyway.
Well, you would think. So let me address the stabbing part of the murders, because if you're anything like me, you're probably really unsatisfied with the fact that nobody's talking about the stabbings. He's only talking about a shooting. Okay. And especially the fact that the papers called them mutilated.
Oh.
Yeah.
So that's two different dynamics here.
So the papers referred to them as being hacked and mutilated. Mm-hmm. Well, Lena, do you want to know what the defense attorney says?
Yes, please.
Remember the finder,
mm-hmm.
the anonymous caller who called police to report the bodies that he found in Blue Sink?
Okay, yeah.
Well, Robert's attorney, Murray Wadsworth, called a Florida highway patrolman to the stand to testify that he listened to the call. And he said, I recognize the voice on that call. Okay. This patrolman says that he pulled over a drunk driver the week before and he had a hatchet in his car.
Oh?
Yeah. He said this weird guy, had a hatchet in his car. He says, I'm pretty sure this is the same guy who called the bodies in.
Oh my gosh.
And just imagine, Mr. Wadsworth, there you have it, ladies and gentlemen of the jury. Doesn't it stand to reason that my client may have shot the victims, but this crazed hatchet-wielding maniac came along in a sexually perverse manner and defiled these girls? Can you just see Mr. Wadsworth? Like,
such theatrics.
Right. So Robert's attorney really suggested that Robert shot these girls, got scared, ran away, and then this guy, some guy, comes along,
sees his opportunity.
One of the girls' clothes off, shreds them up, and then just hatchets them.
No, I'm not buying it.
Now, listen, I'm not saying that couldn't happen.
Sure.
I'm saying that it didn't happen.
No. No.
But good try.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I have to say that defense attorney, good.
Maybe I should go try to be a defense attorney.
He was just doing his job.
Right. Can't blame him for that.
Listen, and his defense attorney also contended to the jury that Robert had multiple blackouts in his life. Like, he would get angry and black out, and the next thing he knew, his sister was laying on the floor.
Then why is he not locked up?
It's like, if this is such an issue, you should probably... But he had a really tumultuous childhood. His father beat him with a broomstick. He's got this sad, and you feel sad for the child. Of course, you feel sad that he was raised like that. But
that doesn't mean you get to act like this.
Exactly. So after a 4-day trial, the jury, who was sequestered at a Florida hotel at the time, which is how the Murdaugh jury should have been.
Yeah.
They took just over 2 hours to deliberate, finding Robert not guilty of the murder of Kay Granger by reason of insanity.
So
That's
what?
Right. Well, I've got more.
Okay, but if he's insane, does that mean he goes into an institution?
Right.
Okay.
So the judge told the jury, just because you found this defendant not guilty doesn't mean he walks out of this courtroom. He reminded the spectators in the courtroom, if he's considered insane, he must be remanded to a state institution for the safety of the public. Now, his defense immediately motions to dismiss the case against him for the murder of Ann Wood because he was insane at the time of Kay's murder, which was right before, was it right after? We don't know. He killed Anne. Well, he must have been insane at both times, right? Well, the judge was like, yeah, makes sense. So they threw the case out the window.
What?
He would not be tried for the murder of Anne Wood.
Unbelievable.
Now,
this is disgusting.
It is disgusting because the state of Florida was like, hold up. You know, we don't talk about the state appealing the court's ruling often, but the state of Florida did appeal this ruling.
That's amazing.
And they had some valid reasons. In the state's brief, they said, quote, "The trial court is recognized as one of the more able trial judges in Florida, and it is seldom that he loses sight of the real issue and the applicable law fitting the facts. But in this instance, we feel that the trial court did err in dismissing the indictment for the reason herein appearing," end quote. I love that verbiage because it's like, you know, Your Honor, you're usually much smarter than this. I know. I love that. I love it. And it's in legalese and it's so professional. I love it. So here are the bones that the state had to pick with the court. First, in the beginning, when he was indicted, the grand jury handed down 2 separate indictments, one for the murder of Kay Granger, one for the murder of Anne Wood. And while the defense motioned to consolidate those trials, the court ruled no, they remain separate.
Okay.
So the court must have had a reason for wanting to keep them separate. Are they not separate crimes? Should he not be held accountable separately for them?
Absolutely.
Okay. So why are we now consolidating these crimes and being like, oh yeah, you're right, totally insane both times? Let another jury decide that.
Yes, please.
Okay. Now, the medical examiner also wasn't able to say whether the gunshot wounds came first or the stab wounds came first. Here's what I mean. Robert Sanders himself testified that Anne Wood was the first to be shot. And he said that in that moment, he realized he shot her. He was scared. And then it suggests that he was sane in that moment. Okay. So I'm going to read a portion of that testimony that was also cited in the appellate brief. The question is from the state's attorney and the answer is from Robert Sanders himself.
Oh, okay.
So question, what do you recall after the shot went off? Answer, Anne Wood screamed something about being shot. She just screamed. It was incoherent. Question, she screamed after the gun went off? Answer, yes, sir. Question, so you knew that you had hit her with the weapon? That one of those bullets had hit her someplace, did you not? Answer, she did not seem to be hurt. She just said that she was shot.
Oh, okay.
Question, she said she was shot at that point? Answer, it was a scream, kind of incoherent. I don't know exactly what she did say. Question, you know then that you were shocked? Answer, I was what I would call a state of more or less shocked, not knowing more or less what it was. I just didn't know what to do. I was confused and scared. Question, you knew that? Answer, yes, sir. I was confused and scared and I didn't know what to do. Question, all right. You knew you were scared. You knew you were confused. Answer, yes, sir. Question, I'm right about that? Answer, yes, sir. I was scared and confused. So the appeal addresses the fact that he knew he shot Anne. He knew he shot her. And then he's scared and confused. He doesn't know what to do. So how are you to say that that's the point at which you blacked out? Right?
Right.
So why are we just not going to try him for the murder of Anne Wood? So we know he stopped at this gas station. He was being deceptive. He's trying to clean the blood off. He's trying to cover up his crime.
Right.
He's trying to cover up what he had done to himself, or I hope it was Kay who shot him.
With those charges.
Right. So let me tell you some evidence about Ann Wood's death that no jury would hear. Ann's autopsy showed that she was shot once through and through. It entered through the front of one of her breasts and exited out her back.
Okay.
According to the appeal, there may have been evidence to suggest that the gunshot wound killed her immediately, and the stab wound or mutilation was inflicted afterwards, despite what the medical examiner says about not being able to tell. Lena, we've done enough of these stories where we know if there's not blood in one of the wounds. The first thing that comes to mind is Ellen Greenberg.
Yes.
We can tell that those stab wounds are made post-mortem, right? So I'm not sure what this medical examiner meant by he couldn't tell if they were made before or after. I don't know. But this would have been something to pose to a jury.
For sure.
This would have been a question to let a jury decide.
Yeah.
The legitimacy and the autopsy
we didn't
report,
get that chance.
And they're not going to get that chance. So if you think about it, the defense may have been able to play off of this as well. They may have been able to play off this evidence as well. They could have suggested that their client accidentally shot Ann and went insane and stabbed her afterwards. Do you know what I mean? Like, if he was that insane, maybe he went into this dogged state and that's when the mutilation occurred, the sexual assault, this dragging their bodies out there. Like,
yeah,
we don't know any of that. And so maybe they could have done something with this. But now we don't know if the gunshot wound killed Ann or if it was the stab wound that killed Ann, which may have spoken to a time frame. So we just won't know because there was never a second trial.
Yeah.
Now, the state cited other case law to bolster their assertion that Robert Sanders knew dang well what he was doing that whole entire time, every minute of the night, from the time he picked up the girls to the time he picked up James. The Wood case should have gone to trial.
Yeah, absolutely.
And a jury should have been able to hear all the evidence and decide separately what was done or what wasn't done.
Yeah.
So, according to the appellate brief, the district court said, yeah, you've got a point to the state.
Okay.
In a ruling 2-1, the court reversed the dismissal of the case and reinstated the indictment for the murder of Elizabeth Ann Wood. Phew, what a relief.
But was it?
Only there was never a trial for the murder of Elizabeth Ann Wood.
So it still stands as he's being charged for it, but there's not been a trial.
But the state never took him to trial. Now,
How does this happen?
I called the sheriff's department because I was like, I'm missing something.
Yeah.
So I'm not finding something. I didn't get an answer. But what? What?
I'm so confused.
I know. Me too.
So how many open cases are there that have never been tried in Florida? Well, in Texas and we're all over the place. But what?
They had an opportunity to try him for the murder of Elizabeth Wood and they didn't. I don't know why.
And after how many years do they just drop it?
Well, so here's the thing. Robert Sanders was sent to the state's hospital in Chattahoochee for treatment. And so after the verdict of not guilty by reason of insanity for the Granger murder, he's sent to Chattahoochee. I don't know if they were like, you know what? Just leave him there.
Well, that's my thing is if they took him to trial, a second trial, then they could be like, well, how if he's insane, how can we bring him to trial? Like you have to be deemed fit, and he would play the part.
You're right. He would have had to have been deemed fit to stand trial and maybe that's why. Maybe that's why at the time that they say a year later or 2 years later that they would have taken him to trial and they couldn't. He remained in that state's hospital for 7 years. The resident psychiatrist said...
Don't say it.
The resident psychiatrist, after 7 years, said, I think he's good. I think he's good. So Robert, just like he walked out the back door of that blood draw center, was able to leave the state's hospital on a, quote, convalescent release, end quote.
Okay.
And go live with his dad in Texas.
Oh,
Thank
Lord
you
Jesus.
for that. But just like when he was arrested for going AWOL from the Army, he went back to Tallahassee. Swear to God, he did.
Even though he's supposed to be living with his dad.
Florida. He went back to Florida.
Is that legal?
Well,
if he's supposed to be living with his father?
Apparently, yes.
What is it about Tallahassee that he likes?
I don't know. What is wrong with this guy? So somehow someone was notified. I don't know if it was his defense attorney, if he had some sort of supervisor or whatever. Someone was notified that he was back in Florida. So a notice was filed with the court informing the judge on the case, hey, Robert's back in town. Just thought you should know.
And what year was that? Do you know?
It was 1974.
Okay.
And at that time, we're still mailing actual paperwork. You know, back in my day when I first started in law, we actually had to walk paperwork to the courthouse and get it stamped or mail it to opposing counsel or whatever it was. Well, that's what they're doing back in the 70s. Now we have e-file.
Yeah,
so
it's a little quicker.
Someone didn't get the notice over to the courthouse. Maybe it got lost in the mail. I don't know.
Unacceptable.
But nevertheless, a violent murderer was back in Florida. But it wasn't long before the state's attorney remanded Robert back to the hospital after finding that he was working as a security guard in a public library in Pensacola.
There is nothing secure about this man. Get him out.
Sir, I don't think that this is the job for you. When there's young children, no doubt teenage girls coming in and out of this library.
Did they not do a background check?
I guess not.
We need security.
Yeah. So another 2 years in the state's mental health facility, and Robert was released in 1976. This time, they're like, did you say your mom lives in Alaska? We're going to buy you a one-way ticket to Alaska.
I mean, that's the first thing I was thinking when you said they let him out. Like, send him on to an island somewhere.
Exactly. So they sent him to Alaska. And
I mean, there's still people there.
No one has ever heard from Robert Scott Sanders ever again.
No one. I feel like, how can he keep himself out of trouble? I don't think he can.
He's probably changed his name. He's probably done other crimes. Maybe he's dead. I don't know. Guys, that's the end of the story.
I mean, I can appreciate the fact that he was sent to Alaska, but I need to know what he's doing and where he's at.
Right.
I would like to know that. Because he's probably back in Tallahassee.
He probably is back in Tallahassee. Oh my gosh. Okay, but can we talk about the Sims family murders?
Yeah.
What are your thoughts? They seem very different. But
so what year?
So the Sims family murders happened in October, right before Halloween, 1966. This happened in October, 4 days shy of a year, 1967.
So how long was Robert was he in prison or jail from being AWOL, from going AWOL? He was in prison. Was it in 66?
So he wasn't arrested until May of 1967.
Oh,
so he was in Tallahassee October 1966 until he was arrested and taken back in May. But then he comes back to Tallahassee. So he was in the area.
So, but nothing has been mentioned of like him being close to the Sims family in any way.
No, he has no ties other than the area, other than Tallahassee.
The area, it's plausible he could have been there.
It's the shooting and the stabbing.
The clothes pulled down.
The sexual assault of the, young girl. I mean, you could argue that 17's not very young, but tell that to her parents.
Yeah.
I think they would have something to say about that, but 17 and 12, I happen to agree with the police on this one that these are unrelated crimes, because I still think that Charlie and Vernon had something to do with the Sims family murder.
Oh, yeah.
Just that whole thing was weird. Vernon being a peeping Tom and having just peeped into the Sims family home and said he was looking at Joy and she saw him.
Yeah, that definitely seems more plausible than just a random attack. For what reason? There was no motive for Robert to be at the Sims.
He seems like more of a hair trigger guy.
Yeah.
Where he would, in the moment, be triggered by something and then...
Yeah, speaking of him being triggered, I think when he says, we talked about suspects giving some kind of truth. I think really... So he said the girls were coming on to him and they made advances and said, oh, we're going to rape you. I think he's the one that said that to them and they rejected his advances and that's what triggered him. So there was truth in
some of it.
But knowing that he's triggered, he works off of being triggered. I don't think he would have done that to the Sims.
Yeah.
There was no motive there.
Yeah. And what would he have been doing in their neighborhood? He was a grifter.
Yeah.
Their neighborhood was like a nice little neighborhood with families and everything. It wasn't like near boarding houses or, near seedy motels, or it just didn't seem like the type of place that you would be passing through if you were, a floater.
I mean, unless maybe someone in the Sims family triggered him maybe he was at the restaurant, at the burger joint, getting a burger, and he was triggered by them, followed him home and did something there. But that's a far reach.
It feels like that's too, out of his wheelhouse, planning something like that.
Yeah.
Going out of his way. But what are the odds that two gruesome murders, when that kind of stuff did not happen in that town, for them to happen nearly a year apart?
Yeah, that's
and not
crazy.
Be connected.
That is so interesting.
Is wild. Tell us what you think, guys.
Yeah, something's going on in Tallahassee in October.
Yeah.
I'm staying away.
Right. Right. But
what do y'all think?
I would love to know what y'all think. Have y'all heard of these murders? Because I gotta tell you, every time that I looked into the Sims murders, the Blue Sink murders came up. And all my research in the Blue Sinks murders had mention of the Sims murders.
So reporters were trying to link it together.
So they were trying to say, how could these gruesome crimes happen in our small town? How could they not be linked? And the police don't think they're linked, but if you're a resident of Tallahassee, you're like, what's going on?
Yeah. You want to link it together because you want to make sense of it all.
Exactly. You want to say, okay, this is the person. We know who it is now.
Yeah.
But
instead of thinking, oh, now we've got 2 killers on the loose.
Exactly. So I would love if you guys would write us. You can email us at cousinsoncrime. What's our email?
cousinsoncrime@gmail.com.
cousinsoncrime@gmail.com or comment on our Instagram post.
Yeah.
Write us on Facebook. I mean, what do y'all think? What are you thinking about this?
We want to know. I know. It's that. Oh, so aggravating. Both cases, but especially, I mean, yeah, to be deemed insane and have to spend time in the institution, but 7 years?
Yeah. And then another 2.
Well, okay.
But I also got to say, like, his defense attorney, this was either his first case or one of his first cases, but brava.
I mean, right?
Okay.
I mean, he did his job.
Exactly.
I want to know where Robert is. I'm not satisfied.
I know. It's very weird. It's really weird. He must have changed his name, gone under the radar.
Well, I hate that this happened to Anne and Kay. They did not deserve that. Just barely starting their adulthood. Well, fly high, angels. Well, that was great. Let's do it again sometime.
Let's do it.
Bye, y'all.
Bye, guys.
Bye.
Thank you for listening to Cousins on Crime. Get connected with us by becoming a free member on our Patreon. Or for just $5 a month, you'll have access to bonus episodes, discussion groups, and much more. If you can't afford $5 a month, we get it. Inflation, am I right? Please consider leaving us a positive review and rating wherever you listen.
And don't forget merch. Support our podcast and show the love by sporting t-shirts with our latest designs, or grab an evidence bag to keep the chain of custody for all your valuables. Don't forget to follow our show on your favorite streaming app so you never miss an episode, and get photos and updates on our Instagram at Cousins on Crime Podcast or our Cousins on Crime Facebook page. Have a case suggestion? Email us at cousinsoncrime@gmail.com.